There comes a moment in your life when you realize nobody is coming to rescue your dreams. Nobody is going to wake up early for you, fight for your future for you, or build the discipline your destiny requires. The difference between average people and extraordinary people is obsession. Ordinary people wish for a better life, but high performers become consumed with growth. They wake up every single day asking, how can I become stronger, wiser, healthier, more focused, and more dangerous to my excuses? And today, I need you to understand this. Your future changes the moment self-improvement becomes your lifestyle instead of your temporary motivation. Some of you are waiting for confidence before you take action, but confidence is built through action. You don't become powerful by sitting around thinking about success. You become powerful by showing up when it's uncomfortable, by pushing yourself when nobody is clapping for you, by staying disciplined when distractions are screaming your name. Every level of your life demands a new version of you, and if you refuse to grow, your life will stay stuck where it is. The people who win in life are obsessed with becoming better, even when nobody notices the effort behind the scenes. I want you to hear me clearly today. Stop comparing your beginning to somebody else's middle. Your assignment is not to compete with the world. Your assignment is to conquer yourself. Conquer your laziness. Conquer your fear. Conquer the mindset that keeps telling you tomorrow. Because the truth is, your habits are either building your future or destroying it. Every hour matters. Every decision matters. Every day you delay your purpose is another day your potential stays buried. God gave you gifts, but it is your responsibility to develop them with discipline, hunger, and relentless focus. If you believe this is your season to rise higher, then take a moment right now and like this video. Subscribe to the channel for daily motivation, faith, and powerful transformation messages that will push you toward your destiny every single day. And I want you to do something powerful in the comments. Write this quote: discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. And also comment one thing you're believing God for today. Your testimony is going to inspire somebody else who feels like giving up. Never forget this: the greatest project you will ever work on is yourself, not your image. Not your reputation. You, your spirit, your mindset, your habits, your purpose. The world changes when you decide to change. The breakthrough begins when you stop making excuses and start making progress. And the moment you become obsessed with improving yourself, your energy shifts, your confidence grows, your standards rise, and your entire life begins to move in a direction that once felt impossible. There is a powerful difference between people who simply wish for a better life and those who become completely committed to growth. Most people admire success from a distance, but very few develop the obsession required to create it. They want change, but they do not want discomfort. They pray for transformation, but they resist discipline. They dream about becoming stronger, wiser, healthier, more focused, and more successful. Yet they continue protecting the habits that are keeping them small, and that is why average remains average. Not because people lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack the deep internal obsession to improve themselves daily. Even when the process becomes difficult, the people who rise to another level in life think differently. Growth is not something they do occasionally. Growth becomes part of their identity. They wake up every morning understanding that the quality of their future depends on the quality of the person they are becoming today. They know that success is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built quietly through consistent effort, disciplined choices, and the willingness to keep improving long after the excitement fades away. While others are distracted by entertainment, excuses, and comfort, high performers are focused on becoming better than they were yesterday. There is something powerful about a person who becomes obsessed with growth. They no longer wait for perfect conditions. They stop waiting for motivation to magically appear. They understand that motivation comes and goes, but commitment is what changes lives. Some days you will feel inspired, and some days you will feel tired. Some mornings you will wake up confident, and some mornings you will wake up uncertain. But the people who win are the ones who continue moving forward anyway. They understand that greatness is not emotional. Greatness is intentional. Greatness is built by people who continue showing up even when nobody is watching, applauding, or encouraging them. You cannot live like everyone else and expect uncommon results. If your habits are average, your results will eventually become average too. If your mindset stays negative, fearful, and distracted, your future will begin to reflect that mindset. But when a person becomes serious about self-improvement, everything starts changing. They begin protecting their energy differently. They become more intentional with their time. They become careful about what they listen to, who they spend time with, and what thoughts they allow to stay in their mind. Because they realize that growth is not only physical, growth is spiritual, emotional, mental, and personal. Every area of your life expands when you become committed to improving yourself consistently. Many people spend years waiting for their life to improve while refusing to improve themselves. But life changes when you change. Your confidence increases when you keep promises to yourself. Your mindset becomes stronger when you stop feeding fear every day. Your discipline grows every time you choose progress over comfort. The strongest people are not always the most talented people. They are often the people who became obsessed with learning, improving, adapting, and growing through every season of life. There will always be distractions trying to pull you away from your purpose. There will always be voices telling you to slow down, settle, or stay comfortable. Some people will not understand your hunger to grow because they became comfortable living beneath their potential. But you cannot allow average thinking to control your future. If God placed greatness inside of you, then you have a responsibility to develop it. Your gifts are seeds, but discipline is what waters those seeds daily. Potential alone changes nothing unless it is backed by effort, sacrifice, and consistency. The truth is, growth requires sacrifice. Every new level demands a new version of you. You cannot become stronger while remaining attached to weak habits. You cannot become focused while constantly entertaining distractions. You cannot become confident while speaking negatively about yourself every day. Transformation begins when you finally decide that your future matters more than your temporary comfort. That is the moment your life begins to shift. That is the moment excuses lose their power over you. Some people spend years talking about what they want to become, but growth belongs to people who take action. Action separates dreamers from achievers. Anybody can talk about goals. Anybody can make plans. But the people who truly change their lives are the people who execute consistently, especially during seasons when progress feels slow, because real growth is often invisible before it becomes visible. There are seasons where you will feel like nothing is changing, but every disciplined choice is shaping your future behind the scenes. Every hour of preparation matters. Every small improvement matters. Every moment of consistency matters. You have to become addicted to progress. Not perfection, but progress. Perfection will make you fearful, but progress will keep you moving. Some people stop because they made mistakes. Some people quit because they failed once or twice. But growth-minded people understand that failure is not the end. Failure becomes feedback. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every difficult season becomes training. Instead of allowing pressure to destroy them, they allow pressure to develop them into stronger people. There is something deeply powerful about a person who refuses to stay stagnant. A person who keeps learning, keeps growing, keeps praying, keeps building, and keeps believing even after disappointment. Those are the people who eventually rise above limitations, because life rewards consistency. Life rewards focus. Life rewards people who stay committed long enough to become who they were created to be. You do not need to become somebody else to succeed. You simply need to become the highest version of yourself. The version of you that stops making excuses. The version of you that protects your peace. The version of you that values discipline more than temporary pleasure. The version of you that wakes up with purpose and goes to sleep knowing you gave your best effort. When you become obsessed with growth, you stop competing with other people because your focus shifts toward mastering yourself. And mastering yourself is one of the greatest victories a human being can achieve. Some of the most successful people in the world are not successful because life was easy for them. They became successful because they refused to stop growing. They refuse to let pain make them bitter. They refuse to let failure define them. They kept developing their mindset, sharpening their skills, strengthening their faith, and improving their habits while everybody else kept making excuses. Over time, that obsession with growth separated them from the crowd, and that same opportunity exists for you right now. No matter where you begin, no matter what mistakes you made yesterday, no matter how behind you feel, your future can still change if you become serious about improving yourself daily. Every morning becomes another opportunity to think better, act better, live better, and become better. The moment you stop settling for average thinking, average habits, and average effort is the moment your entire direction begins to change. Because winners are not born with a special advantage. Winners are created through daily discipline, relentless growth, focused thinking, and the decision to never stop becoming the person they were meant to be. Your life is being shaped every single day by the things you repeatedly do. Not by your intentions, not by your wishes, not even by your biggest dreams, but by your habits. The quiet decisions you make in ordinary moments are creating the future you will eventually live in. Most people underestimate the power of daily discipline because they are looking for fast results, instant change, and dramatic breakthroughs. But real transformation rarely happens overnight. It happens slowly through consistent choices that seem small in the moment but become powerful over time. A single disciplined day may not change your life immediately, but thousands of disciplined moments can completely transform who you become. Every successful person understands something that average people often ignore. Your future is hidden inside your daily routine. What you do every morning matters. What you think about repeatedly matters. How you respond to pressure matters. The habits you build today are quietly building your tomorrow. If you spend your days distracted, negative, lazy, and inconsistent, your future will begin reflecting those same patterns. But when you become intentional with your habits, your entire life starts moving in a new direction. Discipline creates stability. Discipline creates confidence. Discipline creates momentum that carries you forward even during difficult seasons. The truth is, discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. It is choosing long-term peace over temporary pleasure. It is understanding that your future deserves better than your excuses. Many people think discipline means living a miserable life without joy, but real discipline actually creates freedom. When you become disciplined with your mind, your emotions stop controlling you. When you become disciplined with your time, your goals stop feeling impossible. When you become disciplined with your health, your energy begins to increase. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about becoming consistent enough to trust yourself again. There are people who constantly wait to feel motivated before they take action. But motivation is unreliable. Some days motivation will be strong, and some days it will disappear completely. If your progress depends only on feelings, you will struggle to stay consistent. Discipline is what keeps you moving when emotions change. Discipline is what allows you to continue showing up even when life feels heavy. The strongest people are not always the most emotional or excited people. They are often the people who learned how to keep going regardless of how they feel. Your habits are powerful because they shape your identity over time. Every repeated action sends a message to your mind about who you are becoming. Every time you wake up early instead of giving in to laziness, you strengthen your discipline. Every time you choose growth over distraction, you strengthen your focus. Every time you remain committed during difficult moments, you strengthen your character. Little by little, your habits begin shaping the person you see in the mirror. And eventually, your daily behavior becomes your lifestyle. Many people want success, but they do not want structure. They want confidence, but they avoid consistency. They want change, but they continue repeating the same destructive habits every day. Real growth requires responsibility. You cannot create a better future while continuing to feed the behaviors that are destroying your peace, your focus, and your purpose. Some habits slowly build your life, while other habits slowly destroy it. The difficult part is that both happen quietly. That is why awareness matters. You must become intentional about what you allow into your daily routine because repetition becomes reality. The way you spend your mornings can shape your entire day. If you begin every day rushed, distracted, stressed, and negative, that energy follows you into every area of life. But when you start your day with purpose, reflection, gratitude, prayer, learning, or focus, you create mental strength before the world begins demanding your attention. Peaceful routines build peaceful minds. Focused routines build focused lives. The greatest transformations often begin with small changes repeated consistently. There will be seasons where discipline feels difficult. There will be moments when your progress seems invisible. You may work hard for weeks, months, or even years without immediate results. But growth is often happening beneath the surface before it becomes visible on the outside. Just like a seed grows underground before breaking through the soil, your discipline is developing strength inside you long before the world notices it. Never underestimate the value of consistency during quiet seasons. Those seasons are often preparing you for future opportunities. One of the greatest battles you will ever fight is the battle against your own excuses. Your mind will always try to protect comfort. It will tell you to start tomorrow, rest a little longer, wait for the perfect time, or avoid discomfort. But growth lives outside comfort zones. The version of you that reaches greatness is the version of you that learns to act despite resistance. Discipline is not about never struggling. It is about refusing to let struggle control your decisions. You must also understand that discipline affects every area of life. Disciplined thinking creates emotional peace. Disciplined finances create stability. Disciplined communication strengthens relationships. Disciplined habits strengthen your future. Every area of life improves when consistency becomes part of your character. People often search for life-changing secrets while ignoring the simple daily habits that could completely transform their future if repeated long enough. There is power in becoming dependable. Not only dependable for other people, but dependable for yourself. Imagine becoming the kind of person who follows through on commitments even when nobody is watching. Imagine becoming someone who keeps growing during difficult seasons instead of quitting. Imagine developing habits that strengthen your confidence instead of destroying it. That kind of self-trust changes everything, because when you trust yourself, fear loses some of its power over your decisions. Many people spend years trying to change their life while refusing to change their routine. But your routine is creating your reality. If you continue doing the same things, thinking the same thoughts, and making the same choices, your future will likely remain the same. Transformation begins when your habits begin changing. You do not need to become perfect overnight. You simply need to become more intentional every day. Small, disciplined actions repeated consistently over time create extraordinary results. Your future is not decided by one moment. It is decided by repeated moments. Every disciplined choice becomes a brick that builds the foundation of your life. Every healthy habit becomes another step toward peace, strength, confidence, and success. Over time, the things that once felt difficult begin feeling natural because discipline slowly transforms your mindset. What once required effort eventually becomes part of who you are. And the beautiful thing about discipline is that anybody can begin. No matter your past, no matter how many mistakes you made, no matter how unmotivated you feel today, you can still choose better habits moving forward. You can still choose consistency over excuses. You can still choose growth over comfort. You can still create routines that strengthen your mind, your spirit, your future, and your purpose. One disciplined decision at a time, one focused day at a time, one intentional habit at a time. Your entire life can begin shifting toward the future you have been praying for. So many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment to begin. They wait for motivation to appear, for fear to disappear, for confidence to arrive, for life to become easier, and for circumstances to finally feel comfortable enough to take action. But while they continue waiting, time quietly keeps moving forward. Days turn into months, months turn into years, and before they realize it, opportunities have passed them by because they were waiting for a feeling instead of making a decision. The truth is, action changes lives, not intentions. Dreams only begin moving toward reality when a person decides to move despite uncertainty. You cannot build a powerful future by constantly delaying your growth. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," You train your mind to stay comfortable where you are. Every postponed decision strengthens hesitation. Every excuse slowly steals momentum from your future. The dangerous thing about waiting is that it often feels harmless in the moment. But small delays repeated consistently can quietly keep a person stuck for years. And many people who feel trapped are not trapped because they lack potential. They are trapped because they never took action long enough to discover what they were truly capable of becoming. There will never be a perfect time to begin improving your life. There will always be responsibilities, distractions, doubts, fears, and obstacles. If you wait until life becomes easy, you may wait forever. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not people who had perfect conditions. They are people who decided to act even when conditions were imperfect. They understood that progress matters more than perfection. They understood that clarity often comes after action, not before it. Many people believe they need confidence before they start. But confidence is not something you magically receive. Confidence is built through movement. It is built through experience. It grows every time you show up, despite fear. The reason some people appear fearless is not because they never doubted themselves. It is because they stopped allowing doubt to control their actions. Fear loses power when you continue moving forward anyway. The more action you take, the stronger you become mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Your future is deeply connected to the decisions you make today. Small actions repeated consistently can completely change the direction of your life. Reading one chapter every day can eventually expand your mind. Exercising consistently can strengthen your body and energy. Praying daily can strengthen your spirit and inner peace. Learning new skills can create opportunities you never imagined. The problem is that many people underestimate small actions because the results are not immediate. But greatness is rarely built in dramatic moments. It is usually built quietly through consistent effort that nobody notices at first. Action creates momentum, and momentum changes everything. The hardest part of growth is often the beginning. Starting requires courage because you must move before you feel ready. But once you begin, something shifts inside you. Every step forward weakens fear. Every completed task strengthens discipline. Every small victory builds confidence. You begin realizing that you are capable of more than you originally believed. That is why action is so powerful. It reveals strength you did not know you possessed. Some people stay trapped in overthinking. They analyze every possibility, every risk, every mistake that could happen. They spend so much time thinking about action that they never actually move. But overthinking can become a prison. There comes a moment when preparation must end and movement must begin. You cannot think your way into a better life forever. At some point, you must take the step. Even imperfect action creates more progress than endless planning without execution. You must stop waiting for external validation before believing in yourself. Not everybody will understand your vision. Not everybody will support your growth. Some people will doubt you simply because they doubt themselves. But your future cannot depend on other people's approval. If God placed a dream inside your heart, then you have a responsibility to pursue it with courage and faith. Waiting for universal support will only slow your progress. Sometimes you must believe in your future before anybody else sees it. There are moments in life when action feels uncomfortable because growth requires leaving familiar places behind. Familiar habits feel safe even when they are limiting you. Familiar routines feel comfortable, even when they are keeping you stagnant. But comfort zones often become invisible prisons. Nothing changes until you become willing to move beyond what feels familiar. Growth begins when you become willing to face uncertainty in pursuit of something greater. You may fail sometimes. You may make mistakes. You may experience setbacks and disappointment along the journey. But failure is not proof that you should stop. Failure is often part of the process of becoming stronger. Every successful person you admire has experienced moments of struggle, rejection, confusion, and uncertainty. The difference is that they kept moving, they kept learning, they kept improving. They refused to allow temporary setbacks to define their future. There is incredible power in becoming a person who takes action consistently. While others continue talking about their goals, you begin building yours. While others continue waiting for the perfect time, you begin creating momentum. While others continue making excuses, you begin developing discipline. Over time, small actions separate you from the crowd because action compounds. One focused day may not seem life-changing, but years of focused effort can completely transform your life. Sometimes people become discouraged because they expect instant results. They want immediate success, immediate healing, immediate growth, and immediate breakthrough. But life does not always work that way. Some blessings require preparation. Some transformations require patience. Some opportunities require growth before you are ready to handle them. Action is not only about reaching goals. Action is also about becoming the kind of person capable of sustaining those goals once they arrive. You cannot control every outcome in life, but you can control your willingness to move forward. You can control your effort. You can control your consistency. You can control your attitude, your habits, and your willingness to keep growing. And often, those small daily decisions become the very thing that changes your future. Action creates opportunities that hesitation never will. Imagine how different your life could become if you stopped waiting and started moving. Imagine the peace that could enter your mind if you stopped doubting yourself every day. Imagine the growth that could happen if you committed fully to your purpose instead of constantly delaying it. Every great transformation begins with a decision. A decision to stop making excuses. A decision to stop living in fear. A decision to stop waiting for perfect conditions and finally begin building the life you were created for. There are people who spend their entire lives wishing for change, and there are people who create change through action. The difference between those two groups is not talent, intelligence, or luck. It is movement. One group keeps postponing their future while the other group keeps stepping toward it, even when the path feels uncertain. And over time, consistent action creates confidence, wisdom, strength, discipline, and opportunities that once seemed impossible to reach. Your life will never rise above the level of your mindset. The way you think shapes the way you live, the way you speak, the way you respond to challenges, and the way you see yourself when nobody else is around. Long before success appears on the outside, transformation begins quietly within the mind. Every great change starts with a new way of thinking, and many people remain stuck, not because they lack ability, but because their mindset has been trapped by fear, doubt, excuses, and limiting beliefs for far too long. If you truly want to unlock your purpose, you must first learn how to transform your thinking. There are thoughts that build your future, and there are thoughts that slowly destroy your confidence. Every day, your mind is being shaped by what you repeatedly focus on. If you constantly feed your mind negativity, fear, comparison, and hopelessness, your energy will begin reflecting those emotions. But when you intentionally feed your mind growth, faith, wisdom, discipline, peace, and purpose, something powerful begins shifting inside you. Your perspective changes. Your confidence changes, your energy changes, and eventually your actions begin changing too. Many people underestimate the power of mindset because thoughts are invisible. But invisible things often create visible results. A person who constantly believes they are incapable will hesitate every time opportunity appears. A person who constantly expects failure may stop trying before they even begin. A person who lives trapped inside fear will often avoid the very opportunities that could change their life. Your mind can either become the greatest weapon for your growth or the greatest obstacle standing in your way. Excuses are one of the biggest enemies of purpose. Excuses feel comfortable because they protect you from discomfort, responsibility, and risk. They give temporary relief while quietly stealing long-term potential. Excuses will tell you that you are too tired, too late, too inexperienced, too broken, too behind, or too limited to pursue your calling. But excuses never create transformation. They only create delay. Every excuse you continue believing becomes another chain holding your future back. The truth is, your purpose requires a stronger version of you. The life you desire cannot be built with weak thinking and constant hesitation. Every new level demands mental growth. You must learn how to think beyond fear. You must learn how to rise above temporary emotions. You must learn how to stay focused when distractions try pulling you away from your assignment. Growth is not simply about changing your circumstances. Growth is about becoming internally strong enough to handle greater responsibility, greater opportunities, and greater influence. One of the most important battles you will ever fight is the battle inside your own mind. Nobody else can conquer your negative thinking for you. Nobody else can remove your excuses for you. At some point, you must become intentional about protecting your mindset. You must become aware of the thoughts you repeat daily, because repeated thoughts eventually become beliefs, and beliefs eventually shape behavior. If you constantly speak weakness over your life, your confidence will slowly shrink. But when you begin speaking life, possibility, and discipline into your future, your mindset begins opening to new opportunities. Transformation often begins in quiet moments when you decide you are no longer willing to stay the same. It begins when you become tired of limiting yourself. It begins when you stop blaming circumstances, other people, or your past for the future you are avoiding. Personal growth requires responsibility. It requires honesty. It requires the courage to confront the habits, thoughts, and excuses that have been keeping you stagnant. Real transformation is uncomfortable because it forces you to outgrow old versions of yourself. Many people pray for breakthrough while continuing to think in ways that keep them trapped. But your mindset and your actions must align with the future you desire. You cannot constantly feed doubt while expecting confidence to grow. You cannot entertain negativity daily while expecting peace to dominate your life. You cannot continuously avoid discipline while expecting extraordinary results. Your daily thinking patterns are shaping the direction of your future, whether you realize it or not. There is power in renewing your mind every day. The world constantly feeds people fear, distraction, insecurity, and comparison. If you are not intentional, your mind will absorb those patterns without you even noticing. That is why protecting your peace matters. That is why wisdom matters. That is why learning, praying, reflecting, and staying connected to purpose matter. A focused mind becomes a powerful force. A disciplined mind becomes difficult to defeat. You must stop allowing past failures to define your identity. Many people remain emotionally trapped inside old mistakes. They replay painful memories so often that they begin believing their past represents their future. But growth requires releasing the belief that failure is final. Every mistake carries a lesson. Every difficult season carries wisdom. Every setback carries an opportunity to grow stronger if you choose to learn instead of quit. Your future is not destroyed because you struggled. Your future changes when you stop growing through the struggle. Sometimes the greatest breakthrough happens when you finally decide to stop doubting yourself. There are gifts inside you that cannot grow while fear controls your thinking. There are opportunities waiting for the version of you that becomes bold enough to step forward. There is purpose inside you that requires courage, focus, discipline, and belief. But none of those qualities grow through comfort alone. They grow when you challenge yourself. They grow when you refuse to stay mentally weak. They grow when you continue moving despite uncertainty. You do not become strong by avoiding difficult moments. You become strong by learning how to think differently during difficult moments. Anyone can stay positive when life feels easy, but true mental strength is revealed when pressure arrives. Can you remain focused when distractions appear? Can you remain disciplined when emotions become unstable? Can you remain faithful during seasons where progress feels slow? Those moments reveal the condition of your mindset. Your excuses may feel small today, but repeated excuses create long-term regret. Every time you delay growth, avoid responsibility, or settle for less than your potential, you slowly weaken your future. But every time you choose discipline over comfort, action over fear, and growth over excuses, you strengthen your character. You begin becoming the kind of person capable of handling bigger opportunities and greater purpose. The most powerful transformation happens when you realize that changing your life begins with changing yourself. Not pretending, not comparing yourself to others, not waiting for perfect conditions. Real transformation begins when you take ownership of your mindset, your habits, your discipline, and your future. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment your energy begins changing. The moment you stop feeding fear is the moment confidence begins growing. The moment you stop settling for average thinking is the moment your purpose begins rising to the surface. There is greatness waiting on the other side of mental growth. There is peace waiting on the other side of discipline. There is confidence waiting on the other side of consistency. Your future does not belong to the version of you that keeps doubting, hesitating, and hiding from growth. Your future belongs to the version of you that chooses to rise, chooses to believe, chooses to improve, and chooses to become stronger one day at a time. As you leave this message today, remember this truth deep in your spirit. Your future is not waiting on luck, perfect timing, or somebody else's approval. Your future is waiting on your decision to grow, to rise, and to become relentless about improving yourself every single day. There is greatness inside of you that cannot stay hidden forever. The struggles you survived, the pressure you endured, and the lessons you learned were not meant to destroy you. They were preparing you for a stronger version of yourself that is finally ready to emerge. Stop doubting what God placed within you. Stop shrinking your vision because of fear, comparison, or past mistakes. You were not created to live trapped inside excuses. You were created to build, to grow, to lead, and to walk boldly in purpose. Every disciplined action you take from this day forward is shaping the person you are becoming. Every early morning, every focused hour, every moment you choose growth over comfort is creating a future your current self can barely imagine right now. Do not be discouraged if progress feels slow. Some of the most powerful transformations happen quietly before they become visible. Keep showing up, keep learning, keep praying, keep believing. Your consistency is building something greater than temporary emotions can understand. And when difficult days come, remember that strength is not built during easy seasons. Strength is built when you keep moving forward even when life feels heavy. The people who change their lives are not people who never struggled. They are people who refuse to quit during the struggle. Protect your mind carefully. Guard your peace. Feed your spirit with wisdom, faith, discipline, and purpose. The life you desire begins with the thoughts you allow to grow daily inside your mind. A focused mind creates a focused future. If this message spoke to your heart today, take a moment right now to like this video, subscribe to the channel for daily motivation and powerful life-changing messages, and share this with somebody who needs encouragement during this season of growth. And before you go, I want you to write this in the comments. I will become the best version of myself. Also, comment one thing you are believing God for in this season of your life, because your faith and your testimony may inspire someone else to keep going. Never forget this: your life can change one disciplined decision at a time. Your mindset can grow stronger, your confidence can return, your purpose can become clear. And the moment you fully commit yourself to growth, discipline, faith, and action, you begin stepping into the life you were always capable of living.